Okay, good morning, guys. I can see that you all are, some of you are already here already, which is awesome. I am so excited to dive in today. We're going to be talking about 20 different Instagram story hacks. So as you are coming in, if you could just in the comments, leave me a hey, good morning. I'm coming in from Be Live again. So I just want to check to make sure that everything looks good, that you can see me in the group. The nice thing about Be Live is that it gives the notifications to anyone that is signing up for it. Yeah, there we are. Okay, good. I was just double checking. And it also leaves like a little interesting, as soon as I set up the broadcast, it sets it up and it updates it each day, letting people know when I'll be going live. So if you are looking into like different ways to be able to go live in your groups or on your page, definitely check out Be Live. I was using Zoom in order to do it, and I'm still using both accounts trying to figure out which one I like the best. I do like the fact that Zoom gives, or Be Live gives me the opportunity to really have that broadcast so people can see it. So as you guys are coming in, though, just leave me a comment. There we go. Good morning, Morgan. How are you? I am excited to get into this. We're going to really get into the different Instagram story hacks. Now, if you missed last week, make sure you go back to Teachable and check out what we have going on from that past training. Good morning, Kelly. We really dove into why Instagram stories. It kind of goes along the lines of the same idea as why Facebook Live. You have to find a way to incorporate video into your content. There is no more making excuses about it. We have to find ways to do it. And Instagram stories is an easy way to do it. So we're going to definitely get into different ways to use it. And I'm going to continue to challenge you to really use it. I've seen a lot of you that are really jumping into it. I know that Kelly and Morgan were already using Instagram stories. Deborah, who is here, good morning, was not though. And now I am seeing her on Instagram constantly. And I am so excited about that. Michelle, good. I'm so glad that you were here. Michelle is another one who was using Instagram stories constantly. So if you are looking for someone that does things a little bit different, Michelle is definitely someone that pushes her Instagram stories, I feel like, to the edge, the limit of where I get like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. She does these awesome videos where she actually, it looks like stop motion almost, but she's putting it together, editing it, and then uploading it to Instagram stories. And it's just an amazing little way to do it. Okay, perfect. So we are going to get into these hacks. If you have any questions as we're going along, if you have suggestions, different ways that they should be used differently, please put them right there. Some of this is going to be basic, but some of it also, I feel like, because Instagram is always updating, we know that they are constantly doing something that it kind of changes each week from week to week. So if you're noticing something that you're like, I've never seen that before, or you've used it and you use it a different way, please make sure that you let us know that. Deborah, perfect, good. Good morning, Megan. Good, I'm so glad that you were able to join in. So Deborah is asking Michelle, what is your Instagram? I would love it, Michelle, if you would put that right in the comments so people can find you. I want to say it's at Thriving on Paleo, but I could be wrong saying that right off the top of my head. So perfect. Good morning, Candy. I'm glad that you were able to join in. I know it's early there on the West Coast. Okay, so we are going to jump right into this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to be using my phone, and I'm going to kind of show you some of these things that you're able to do. Most of you might have seen some of these things, but these are some basic principles to be able to use. So the first thing that I'm going to do, actually, I want to be able to show you what I'm doing. So I've gone into Instagram stories, right? You can tell it's just on the video mode right now. We're going to start off talking about how to use pictures that you've already taken or that you take right at that moment. So one of the first things that you're going to want to know is that you can access previous photos that are on your camera. So in order to do that, if you look right over in the corner, it has this little picture here. This is where my photos are. So I'm just going to tap on that, and it's going to pop up all of the photos that are on my camera. So we are going to pick one of these photos, and I'm going to go with the Christmas one. Okay, perfect. So it puts the date there because it was a photo that was taken from my phone on that particular date. So what we're actually going to start with is we're going to start with filters, okay? Because a lot of times you have to remember, Instagram is still about beautiful photos. You do not want your Instagram stories to suck. So if it's a dark photo, which we had happen yesterday, Joe was messing around and taking Instagram stories for the Melrose family, and the photo he had was really, really dark. So all you have to do is you just swipe, and it's going to change your filter so that it can go, I'm trying to do this backwards, so this is always a killer. And it'll show you what the filter is. And if you're noticing, see how it got a little darker there? There's the black and white. Okay, so you just swipe and you get it to the coloring that you're looking for. I like the lighter one, of course, because that's just, I think, as of someone that does a lot of food, I do a lot of lighter photos. So, oh, Candy, I love that comment. Where is that comment? I want to make sure that people see that. That is awesome. I learned I had to take pictures with camera up and down to get the right way. Yes. So Joe and I had this issue. We went to Asheville this weekend, and he was taking Instagram stories for the Melrose family, and I was doing Jenny Melrose. Well, he kept taking his phone and going like this and taking the picture, but you're going to cut off half of your photo, right? So because of that, you have to remember Instagram stories are up and down. They're vertical like this. So when you're doing Instagram stories, you're taking pictures for Instagram stories, you want to pull them right from here. Okay. So you want to pull it so that it's not right from here. You want to pull it so it's up and down like this with your phone. Good. I'm glad that you brought that up, Candy. Perfect. Okay. So that's how you're going to change the filter. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is you can actually change the color of when you're writing, right? We kind of have an idea of how to write on it. So if we wanted to write, we're going to go over here to these little letters there, okay? And you can start typing whatever it is that you want to type. Right? So there we go. We got some typing on there. Now you can change the color, but let's say that the color that you have here, so we'll go for like a green, okay? That changed the color of my letters. But let's say that the color that you wanted isn't there, right? It's not part of these normal colors. If you just hold on this, you will then have access to the entire color wheel. So I know that there are a lot of you designers here that love to have things very brand specific, and that is awesome. I'm not thinking of Tracy at all. So you can get those specific colors that you want, and you just drag your finger and see how it's changing the colors. So you're getting access to all of the range of the color wheel, not just the colors that Instagram puts there, okay? So that one's really, really simple, but it's not something that you would know unless someone showed you the hack. So that's why I'm just going through that. Okay, so that is your color wheel. Now what you can also do is you're going to let's get rid of the writing, right? Okay, so the writing is there. Now, let's say we wanted to do these pictures in stages, because if you notice when you watch other people's Instagram stories, and we're going to talk more about this in upcoming weeks, but a lot of people, you want it to be a story, to tell something, and you don't always just want it to be random photos of your family or your kids doing stupid stuff. And I have learned that the hard way, because I have seen a great more interaction when there's an actual story behind it. So let's say, for example, you wanted to do like a reveal of your Christmas card, okay? So like, let's say this is my Christmas card, and I wanted to do a reveal of it, and I wanted to put up like something exciting. So I don't want people to be able to see my picture right away. My first photo, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to cover it so nobody can see it. So I'm going to hit the pen, okay? So I hit my pen. I'm going to choose a color. Did I choose a color? I chose a color, yep. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my finger on it, and it turns all of it yellow. Okay, so it changes the background. I can do any color that I want. Oh, I was holding it, so it kind of just did it that way. Perfect. Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, so with this, you will have your background. Now we talked a little bit about this last week as I showed you how to do this, is you can erase it so they can kind of see a little bit. So let's say you wanted this photo to be your first one, you add this to your story. Then you could go back, add that picture again, and start to kind of reveal it. So in order to reveal it, you're going to go over up top here where you see something that looks like an eraser, a pencil top. And if you press on the pencil top and then start erasing your screen, nope, that's not the pencil top. That was a marker. You start erasing your screen, it is going to start to, there we go, it's working now, start to be able to reveal part of the picture, okay? So that is one way that you can do like a first photo, do a second photo, and then you could do a third photo where there's nothing even there covering it, so you would actually just see the photo. Okay, perfect. All right, so I just see a question that is coming. I'm going to undo that so we can go back. Candy was saying about her, where's that question that she had? Also, my number went in 2 lines, and I'm thinking there is a limit. Morgan then answered, use the slider on the side to make text smaller, and it will fit on the 1 line. Okay, so with this, I think what she's talking about is if you tap, then again, so we have this writing that's here, right? We have this crazy writing that I did. When it's done, you have your writing that's here. You can kind of not see it, but you can drag it wherever you want to. Can you see that, guys? I know my finger's kind of on it, but you can kind of see it. So there's the orange, and then you can make it bigger. You can turn it sideways. I touched on it a little bit too much, so I popped it. You can put it wherever you want to. You can also just tap it, and it's going to change the color. Now, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that you were able to see, because I love the way that it looks, is you are able to do it so that your text actually has like a whiteout in the background. And that's really, really simple. So that is this guy. So see how that makes it look all nice and neat? And you can also, even when it was small, the hashtag didn't work. Okay. Oh, you're talking hashtags. Okay, we'll go into hashtags, Kenny, and I'll see if I can answer the question that I think you're asking now. Okay, I wasn't understanding. So that gives you the background, though, in your writings. And if you had black text, it would make the background white. So it just looks like a sticker almost, and it gives it a little bit more of a look. Now, one of the things that people also will do, and again, you can drag this wherever you want to. You can make it smaller. You can turn it so it's sideways. You can make it look like it's coming out of Santa's head. Whatever it is that you're looking to do with it, your design of it, is how you would go about. So we did the 1 color background. The other thing that we talked about last time is we talked a little bit about the stickers, right? So we're going to go into the stickers because I want to make sure we know, and we're going to go into the hashtag one. So I can't do it backwards. I have to look when I do this. Okay. So here's your stickers, all of the different options that you have, okay? You have the date, you have your degrees, your location, and your hashtag. There's also the ability to do a poll, which is really fun. So let's start with, I know we did this last time. This is the selfies, right? This was the selfie one where you hit the camera and you're able to take a picture of yourself and you take a quick picture. And now I can add my floating head into this Christmas picture of all the grandchildren because I'm not a grandchild, so I don't get added to the picture anymore, but I can add myself and I can be sarcastic about it and whatever else, okay? So that is one option with the selfie sticker, which is fun because you can do it all different ways. Then another thing that you can do with the stickers is your hashtag, okay? Now with hashtags, you have to remember, you want your hashtag to come up in search. You want it to be something popular that people are going to be looking for. So if you start typing whatever you want the hashtag to most likely be, so like for example, this one, I want it to be something about Christmas. And as I'm typing, it's gonna give me options down at the bottom that are popular, okay? So just based on the CHRI, I'm getting Christmas tree right off the bat, and I'm getting Christina Aguilera. What did she do that I don't know about? But then as you type in more, it's going to give you more options, and it's just like Pinterest. It's giving you the most popular ones. So if you look at this, sometimes people seem to think that the hashtags are done by like alphabetical order, but it's not, right? Because Christmas tree and then Christmas nails. So those are the popular hashtags right now for Christmas on Instagram. If it works for your picture, then that would be a hashtag that you would want to use. You always want your hashtags to be something that people are going to search for. Because remember, you're trying to get found. Using hashtags on Instagram stories gives you the ability to be found if someone were to press on a hashtag within Instagram. So that's why you want to be using your hashtags here. Candy, I'm not sure if that answered your question. If it didn't, put your question here a little bit more specific, because I'm not exactly sure. I'm wondering what kind of hashtag you were using that it was too long. But you can, like Morgan said, you can make this once it's done. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can drag it, you can put it wherever you want to. Oh, Carrie's here. Carrie, I'm so glad that you're here. Perfect. So you can drag this hashtag though wherever you want, and you can, however you want to use it. Okay. So that is another sticker that is here. Let's go here to some of the other stickers that you can use. So let's do polls. Okay. Because that is a newer feature that they have now. So you can put up a poll and you can ask a question. So let's say, pizza, or wine. No, not pizza or wine, because the answer is yes or no. Pizza for dinner. There we go. That's my question. And then people are able to vote. And then when you go to vote, when you're watching it in stories, you can see how many people have actually voted for which one. I'm trying to think who it was. It wasn't Michelle Spring. It was Michelle Ferrand, who recently did a poll. And then she was doing these ugly sweater hand pie cookies on her Instagram stories. And she asked on her Instagram, strawberry pie filling. And based on what her Instagram audience said is what she then turned around and filled her cookies with. So it gave the audience the opportunity to really interact with her, and they felt like they were more engaged with it because here she is making exactly what she asked and exactly what they told her that they would prefer. So you can see the percentages. I recently saw Pinch of Yum did this as well with something, I can't remember what it was though, but it was a yes/no kind of question and you were able to fill it in. Now here's the other thing that you can do, okay? So yes, you can do yes/no questions, but let's say you wanted to say, you could just say which one, right? And I think that's what actually Michelle did when she did hers. So here, so it says which one. Instead of yes, we're going to put strawberry. And I can't spell this quick. It doesn't quite fill it. Or we're going to put cherry. So you can then type what you want your options to be for your poll. Right? So it doesn't, so you could tell us, you could be talking in the video, have this as a poll asking what kind of filling do you want to have on it, and then be able to use it there. Okay, so that's another way to use the poll, which is really fun. Okay, so Candy is saying, okay, it was a Walmart called Walmart Grocery Treats, and the S went on another line no matter how big I made the text or how small. Okay, so I'm guessing then I've never used, that is a really long hashtag. So I'm guessing that there is a limit as far as the line. Morgan, or who else? Megan, I know that you use it a lot. Michelle too. Any ideas as far as if there's a limit on hashtags? It's something I will definitely look up to find out, but I'm guessing that that's what happened. Okay, so we did the poll. We used our stickers. I want to make sure that there's nothing. And then with the stickers, you obviously can use all of the emojis are there for you. And they also have holiday ones that you can use. You can put words. I see a lot of times when people are doing a video, they'll use this sound on one. So it lets people know, click the sound on so that you can hear what's being said, right? So there's all these different stickers that you can definitely use to be able to help. Okay. Do you tag the brand if you are doing an Instagram story? Yes, Deborah, I definitely would. So one of the tricks that we had talked a little bit about last week, and we're going to be talking about it more moving forward, is that you can use your Instagram stories to attract the attention of a brand just like you would on Twitter. You know how in Pitch Perfect Pro, I taught that whole theory about, going on to putting out a tweet, being able to talk about them. Well, on Instagram stories, it's even better because now what happens is that you can actually move, you move your request, or when you put, so when you tag the brand, it puts you into their inbox rather than their request inbox. So then you can have that conversation about getting the email address. So I would definitely tag them. And all that you have to do in order to tag them is you hit like the writing tool, and you're going to hit your @ and then as you start typing, people will show up down at the bottom that you are following. So you can tag the brand, you can tag the people, you can tag whoever it is. So yesterday, I was doing my mastermind, and as we were talking, I took a quick snap of them, a quick picture of them, and I tagged all of the girls in the mastermind in my Instagram story. And you're able to tag as many people as you want. So their names just come up down here at the bottom when you start to type their @ and you're able to tap them and it would fill it in. So if I tapped here, you would be able to then have their handle there. Okay, Nicole just said, I love it, because that's exactly where I was going to go. Nicole said, I've been seeing Instagram stories with background music sound. How do I do this? Okay, so there are 2 different ways that you can actually do that. One of the ways is actually offered right with Instagram. I'm getting rid of that hot mess that was there, okay? So down at the bottom here. So you're in video, right? Down here at the bottom is all of these swipe. You can just swipe, and it's going to give you different settings. We're going to go through those settings. So one of the way that you can have music, you've probably heard people do that scary music where it's like, I can't even do it. I'm not even going to attempt to make the sound because I'm not like that. So, but it's super zoom. So what's going to happen is, so there's my bookshelf, right? And it gets it even closer in. And then what's happening is, as I'm pressing that button, can you hear that? It makes that sound so that you were able to have that scary music in the background. Now, one of the other ways that you can actually do it, Nicole, is you can be playing a song from your phone, and it's going to pick up that music. So let's say it started snowing and you wanted to do an Instagram story outside in the snow, and you had Let It Snow play on your phone. So if you had it on iTunes, you had it on Pandora, as long as it's coming from your phone, then that music, as you do your Instagram story, is going to be part of your Instagram story, okay? Perfect. Just see my tag. Good. Okay. So Morgan, this was going back to tagging the brands. She said it's also a great way for them to see if you tag them a few times over a few weeks or days, because they will see each mention. So something I wanted to talk about with this, as far as tagging the brand, is that with that, even if they don't see it right away, so if they don't see it within 24 hours, your story expires and they're not going to see exactly what you said, but they are going to get it in their inbox, like Morgan said, about how many times you have tagged them, you've talked about them, you've mentioned them, okay? And Morgan just made a really good point to be careful. Obviously, when you are using music, make sure that the licensing isn't an issue. So you really definitely want to be careful with your music that you're using. I would probably use the same kind of music that you would use to do a tasty style video or any kind of video like that, because you obviously can get in trouble for the licensing. Okay, perfect. All right, so we covered, what's the best way? Carrie just asked, what's the best way? Oh, and by the way, I have to just bring this up. If you did not see Miss Carrie Riley's rant on the Elf on the Shelf, it is on my profile, Jenny Russell Melrose. It's also on the Melrose Family Facebook page. It was hilarious and exactly the way that I feel about the Elf on the Shelf. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go to either the Melrose Family Facebook page or just go to my personal profile. I know Candy and I were having a conversation about it. Morgan jumped in, so did Angel. Hilarious. So definitely check out Carrie. But Carrie is asking, what's the best way to include a link in your Instagram? I'd like to provide a link in my Instagram to my Facebook video. So Carrie, in order to have in your Instagram story a link, you have to have 10,000 followers, which is really cool. I don't quite have it yet. We're working to get it there. But you have to swipe. You have the ability to say swipe up and then link it to wherever you want to send it to. if you do not have 10,000 followers, what you can do is on your Instagram profile, you can put the link to your Facebook video. And let's say you did a still shot of the Facebook video for like your Elf on the Shelf video. You would have that in your feed. And then in the comments, you would have to tell them to click on the link in a profile. That is the best way that I can think of. Morgan, if you have another suggestion, and Megan, I know there's a bunch of you that use Instagram constantly. So if you have suggestions as far as other ways to link to it, I think that's your best way, honestly. Unless you have 10,000 followers, you're not going to be able to do it in Instagram stories, but you can do link in profile. There's also that clicky thing, link share. What is it called? I know, Morgan, we were talking about it yesterday, where you can actually have it. You just have to remember where it'll be. You can link it to your blog post and your video, your post. Okay, good. So Megan's saying that's really the only way to do it, because you always have to remember to update that then. So it's hard. One of the things that we did talk about is that Morgan and I were having this conversation, I think in our mastermind yesterday. Maybe it wasn't in the mastermind. I don't remember where it was, Morgan. But we were talking about how Instagram is about building your brand. Even Morgan, who has over 18,000 followers on Instagram, she doesn't see a ton of traffic from her Instagram feed. She is starting to see more traffic from her stories because it's clickable now. But she doesn't see a ton from her feed. That's more about just building your brand. So Carrie, that would be something where it would just be really smart to have it there so that you could showcase the fact that it's a video, and especially if you can get like a screenshot or something of it with like all the likes and the views that video is probably already getting. So I'm seeing what Megan said, that was really smart. So Michelle says, sometimes I make a short link that I mention in the story that people can remember. That's so smart, Michelle. Yes. And that's exactly what Megan said. So you can make like a short Bitly link where you're just able to mention it in the story, and then they're able to remember it to be able to click over about it. All right, good. Perfect. Okay, hold on. Where are you? Okay, but I put it in there, but it doesn't seem to be a hot link. If it's in your profile, will it be clickable? It will not be clickable on the actual Instagram post. That's the one thing about Instagram that was one of the major reasons that I was very late to it and didn't like it, because I didn't understand the purpose. Instagram is not about driving traffic. It is about building your brand. And Morgan, that was in the mastermind that we were talking about that. That's right. Okay, so let's get back to this, because already we are going over almost 30 minutes here. Okay, so Instagram stories, we are still talking. So now we're talking video, right? I showed you, I want to get my hand out of the way so you can see it. Okay, down here, you have the ability to swipe these so that you can change the setting. So now you could go live just like you can do Facebook Live. But Instagram, it's just going to be live there, and it's not part of your story. It's going to be something totally separate where you're actually live. It's kind of cool though, because now you can bring in other people. So if someone's watching you live on Instagram, you can bring them in to do like an interview or to get them involved. It's not something that I have kind of played with a ton yet. I'm more trying to build my stories at this point, one step at a time here. So normal is just a normal video where you have that 30 seconds. Boomerang is kind of fun. So like if you're cheersing, if you're doing something silly, all it does is it's like replays it back and forth and make it look like it's doing it over and over again. So you just hold it down and it just is going to make it look like it's moving. So it just plays it over and over again, and it moves it in like a time lapse, a very short time lapse for that one. Then your other option, I showed you the super zoom, which was with that scary noise in the background. Your other option here, so hard to do this backwards, is rewind. So if you're having your kids go down the slide, if you start to record it, it's actually them going to play it backwards, which is kind of fun because, of course, it's just something where you can see your kids being silly, or if you're having someone walk backwards, or if you wanted to show a recipe backwards, or a pot of water boiling backwards, that would be your rewind button. Again, just something silly, kind of fun to do. this is the option to do hands-free so that you don't actually have to hold this down. You can just hit it and start recording. So this is something where like if you wanted to set it so that you're showing them something quick with your hands and you need to have the ability, whether it's a project or if you're like, let's say you're doing a bow in 30 seconds, you want to show them how to make it. You would need both hands to do that. So if it's something like that where you can set it and be able to see yourself, that you can use the hands-free and it will automatically just record you and then add it to the story. Okay, this one I was playing with earlier, which Michelle made me think of you because Michelle does these videos, which are awesome. She edits them outside of it. So she'll do a recipe and she'll take all of her kind of video that she's taken and then put it together into a 30-second video for Instagram. And it looks like stop motion. So this stop motion, what this will do is I'm going to take a couple photos. So let's say you're doing a recipe or you're doing a project or you're doing something that's a tutorial. So all I did is I took 4 photos. The photos are right, I'm gonna mess this up. The photos are right here. You can see that, and I can change the order of them. So if I didn't like the way that the order was, I can move that around. And then it is going to put it together into a video. So like if you were doing that craft and you wanted to show, okay, this is the first step, this is the second step, and you didn't want to do a full video, you take all those pictures and it's gonna put it into a stop motion video. So we would hit done with our photos. This is so hard. Okay, so it goes really relatively, this is going fast because I only had the 4 photos in it, but you can see it's going from photo to photo. So this would be a really cool way to be able to create video, to be able to add to your Instagram stories. And it could be your tutorial or your recipe that you're creating. So that was definitely something that I wanted to talk about. Okay, the only other, okay, now I want to go into, this portion is more about the stories that you already have and how to use stories. Okay, so let's talk about something, hold on. Something that would be a great story to add to your highlights. Yeah, be quiet, Morgan, I'm going to highlight, stop pushing me. Just kidding, I love you. We're gonna get to highlights, I promise. So first thing I wanna do is if you're watching a story, how to get from one to the next without needing to like want to drive yourself crazy. So I turn the sound off so you guys don't have to do this, but this is an Instagram story that's going through one of the people that I watch. She has it set up, obviously, since she has a background. If you wanted to get to the next one, because you are able to read relatively fast, you don't need to wait for all that time, you would put when you're looking at your camera, you are going to just hit to the right of it. So it will move it, it'll move it to the next one. So see how it's moving? And it's moving it through. Now, if I wanted to go back and I said, oh, wait, I didn't get to see what that said, I'm going to go back and I go back through her stories. And if I wanted to pause, I'm able to pause her video as well so that I won't miss any of it just by tapping. Okay? So you're able to go back. Okay. Now, oh, look who that is. There's Morgan. So Morgan, she's tagging, I love my Philly. Perfect. So this is a perfect example in your story, what you can be doing, okay? And that jumped into someone else's story. So if you wanted to get out of there, you're just gonna hit that X to get out of it. Now, let's go. So I kind of really quick showed you how to go through stories because I think I was always just tapping and didn't realize why I was going back and forth. If you tap to the right, it makes it go forward. If you tap to the left, it makes it go backwards. That way you're able to see whatever you wanna see if you miss something. Now let's go to our profile. Oh, I see what it is. It's on the wrong thing. Okay, so you're on your profile. And what we want to be able to do is we want to take a look at our stories. So when you're on your profile, you can tell if there's any stories. I'm going to click here so that I can see it. Now, if I go down here at the bottom and click more, it's going to give me a bunch of options in my story settings. So here we go for story settings. All right, you want to allow messages because this is going to be the opportunity to really build a relationship with anybody that tags you or any of that kind of stuff. Allow sharing. You can have the option that anytime you put out a story, it can save it automatically to your camera roll. So I know that that was a question that came up last week is how do we save these? We don't want them to go away after 24 hours. You can automatically save it. Now, personally, my phone has way too many photos as it is. I don't have the room for that. So mine's not on. As you can see, like over there, it's not on. The other thing, And Angel's messaging me. The other thing that you can do is actually save it to your archive. So that is what I do because it's saving it to Instagram's archive so that if I wanted to add it to my highlights later on, I definitely can do that. And I can also do like a time hop and bring it back. You also have, you also have the ability to share your story to Facebook if you wanted to. So if it was something for your Facebook page and you wanted it to be able to be there, you could do that. There's that little toggle there. So those are your settings that you can use for your stories. The other thing that you may or may not want to use is you can hide the story from specific people. So let's say, for example, you were doing a rant about your mother-in-law and you didn't want her to see it. You could hide it from her. Who would ever do that? So those are your story settings. The other thing that you want to know about is on here, you can also get some insights about who is seeing and who is doing what. So over here, you can see the people that are viewing it. If I click on that, it pops it up. And now I'm going to be able to get story insights. This is if you have a business account. If you do not have a business account, you're not going to have the ability to see the story insights. So it tells me how many impressions, how many views, how many replies, how many clicks that are there and what people have done. So that will give you information, and that's for each one, it will do that. So this is this video. If I went back to this one, okay, it gives me the specific insights for that one. All right, so that is going to give you a bit more information about what is going on with your stories, who's interacting with what. So therefore, you can also make sure that if it's another blogger, you're giving that blogger the love as well, making sure that you're checking out their stories. Okay, so now the other thing that I wanted to talk about was highlights, which Morgan ruined my parade. Right here, this is a new feature. Is you're able to have highlights here so people can actually check out your stories if they were to go to your profile. So to add a new one, it's going to go here. And what you're going to see is these photos are obviously from much longer than just 24 hours. These are from once I had the ability, it just came out literally last week to be able to archive naturally. And that's what it started to do. So these are all the ones that I can choose in order to highlight because this is when it started archiving my photos. And all you do is you choose it. So this one is actually, where is it? I'll do my mastermind. My lovely mastermind. Okay. So this was from yesterday. I put the little blue check mark there. And then I'm going to hit next. And you can see that it isn't exactly where I would want it to be. I would want to move their beautiful faces so that you could see them a bit better. So there you go. That was the Fall Mastermind. Those are all members of the membership site. Morgan is there. Candy is there. There's Tracy and Mary and Marisa. So you're able to move it so that it's centered. Hit done. And then I didn't realize this because I am a ding dong. You can put a title there. So if I wanted to say mastermind, so I knew what it was, and so everybody else knows what it is, I can just type that there, and then I'm going to add it, and then it's going to be part of my highlights. So I don't have to just have my Instagram stories that are here for 24 hours. It gives me the ability to have that there. Okay, good. Carrie is asking. So Carrie, it's going to be based on your settings. So when I click on highlights, nothing is there. Where are the highlights coming from? So you want to go back in and you want to start archiving yours. So if you go to your story settings, remember we were in here and there was the more button, right? And when you click the more button, story settings comes up. And now right here, see this little toggle, save to archive? That is going to save all of those so that you'll be able to choose from those for your highlights as you go along with your Instagram stories over time. Okay? So that is where it is. Okay. Morgan also is giving another way around that. So she said it should be blank for you if no highlights with a circle with a plus sign to get yours started. Okay. Yeah, so that is all that you'll be able to do. You can add your highlights as you saw and be able to delete them here. Okay, I want to make sure that I got everything that were here. Yep, I got all of mine. So we got through 20 Instagram hacks today. Kind of flew through it, wanted to make sure that if there were any questions, we kind of made sure that we went back. If you have any questions after the live feed is done, if you feel like I missed something, if you've seen someone else do something and you're kind of like, how did she do that? How do I make my account do that? Just leave it in the comments. So Carrie, there isn't any content to add. It's going to be because of you haven't done an Instagram story in within 24 hours, and you're also not archiving. So you got to go into your story settings. And if you don't have any stories that are done, in order to do that, you are going to go to your settings. Where am I going for that? Okay. So here, hold on. I'm showing. I'm on my profile, right? Up in the top right-hand corner, this shows that I have my archive on. It is not going to show that you have your archive on, is my guess. So when you click on it, you're going to be able, in here, to be able to put on your story settings to be able to archive it. What about the app Captivate to grow audience? Okay, I am not familiar with that. I'm guessing it might be a bot. Bots were really, really popular for Instagram in the beginning. It was kind of like how everybody grew with their feed, but Instagram put out a huge thing probably 2-3 months ago that bots, it's very likely you will go to Instagram jail. So be careful if it is something where Captivate goes and likes a bunch of accounts and then unlikes a bunch of accounts or anything like that, because if it gets caught, you will be put in Instagram jail. What that exactly means normally is that your account is blocked. You'll be there for a certain amount of time until you can get out. I'm not familiar though with Captivate. If it's something a bit different, I will definitely take a look into it and see what it is, and have an idea. Yes, so Morgan is saying that Instagram hates outside apps. It's just like Facebook. Facebook does not like other outside apps, neither does Instagram. The only thing that I use for Instagram is the app plan, because I can change my filters to make sure that they are consistent throughout. And I can't schedule, all I can do is be able to see my feed so that I can make sure that it looks pretty and that they are all the right filter. But it really doesn't do much of anything else, because Instagram just really does not want other apps in there. It wants you to use Instagram. It is going to reward you for using the app. The more often that you are in there commenting, using Instagram stories, you are going to find yourself coming up higher when people go in there in their feeds. So make sure that you are using it as much as you can, but obviously within a balance. I definitely make sure that I schedule Instagram. It is not something that I am on all day long. It is something that I just kind of go through during certain times. Okay, Jess says, I'm assuming when someone's posting stories where it looks like another piece pops up, they're using the same pic and adding different text each time. Yep, we talked about that in the beginning, Jess. So I know that you're probably just popping in. Go back to the beginning of this video. We did talk about how to add different stories, or different pictures, to put a filter over it or to put background over it so that it looks like as it comes through. So definitely take a look at what we talked about in the beginning for sure. All right, guys, I appreciate you all so much for taking the time to jump on live with me. I will be over on the Melrose Family, not the Melrose Family, on the Jenny Melrose Facebook page at 11 o'clock, so in 15 minutes, talking about the importance of your why for your long-term goal setting. You're not going to want to miss it. And this is just a shout out to Morgan and Kelly. I will not be crying. I will be pinching myself to make sure that I stay calm and cool and collective. But I hope you guys will join me. It's going to be a really important kind of message that you really, I think, need to hear. There is going to be a download for it that I haven't offered before. So I'd love it if you guys could join in. All right, guys, I will talk to y'all soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.